saying, then I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion?
Candace Owens keeps getting closer to the person who killed her friend. She is on a mission and she is not backing down. And holy ish, why isn't all this stuff all over the news?
A couple of weeks ago, before Charlie lost his life, Charlie was in the Hamptons. He had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's thoughts, Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset and threats were made. He was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding.
Candace Owens has found herself in the middle of a storm. After publicly challenging the official story surrounding Charlie Kirk's sudden death, according to her, the FBI and several powerful Israeli billionaires allegedly played a role in covering up what really happened to him, and she's determined to expose it all. Things have gotten so tense that Candace was reportedly slapped with a gag order, but in true Candace fashion, she took 2x to announce that she plans to violate it on behalf of the world, claiming she's uncovered enough information to burn the house down. She even accused Charlie's inner circle, including his wife, Erica, of betrayal, after being removed from the guest list for his memorial service for asking too many questions. Despite the backlash, Candace continues to drop new claims in each video she posts, pushing her followers to believe there's more to the story than meets the eye. Now, with people comparing her situation to Dave Chappelle's abrupt move to Africa 2 decades ago, some are speculating Candace might be next to flee the country once the alleged powerful figures she's calling out decide to silence her.
Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Then somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that.
Candace Owens recently dropped another bombshell, leaking what she claims are private group chat messages between Charlie Kirk and 7 unnamed individuals. In the messages, Charlie reportedly talked about losing a $2 million donation from one of his Israeli sponsors after refusing to support their pro-Israel agenda. This revelation came shortly after he was allegedly flown to the Hamptons for an intervention, where he faced intense pressure to comply, but Charlie stood his ground. According to the leaked texts, he made it clear he wouldn't be bullied or manipulated, even if it meant going against powerful backers. Candace went on to claim that just one day before his death, Charlie told at least 3 people that he feared for his life and suspected something bad was about to happen to him, adding yet another chilling layer to the mystery surrounding his sudden passing.
That I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell over the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you. I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record, 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie, one who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay? He did not express that to me, so I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people, who I think are good, will be inspired to come forward with that. Again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
Candace Owens didn't stop with the leaked messages. She went even further, taking to Instagram to accuse the FBI of fabricating evidence in the Tyler Robinson case. According to her, the blurry images the FBI released of Tyler allegedly leaving a rooftop were fake, and the story about his parents turning him in was completely made up. Candace claimed she had verified information from a trusted source proving that Tyler was framed and that the federal government was lying to the public. She insisted Tyler had never been suicidal, never confessed to any crime, and had never even been to the UVU campus, contradicting everything the media had reported. The only true detail, she said, was that the gun involved belonged to him, but even that didn't make him guilty. Candace also alleged that the supposed Discord messages pinned on Tyler were federal fabrications, part of a larger cover-up to silence the truth about what really happened to Charlie Kirk.
Candace also brought up how Marjorie Taylor Greene randomly felt the need to put it out there that she wasn't having any thoughts of taking her own life, and that if anything happened to her, everyone should look to a foreign government, aka Israel, being involved. Basically, Candace was insinuating that Marjorie was receiving threats too, and this tweet was her way of protecting herself.
I would never take my own life. I have no suicidal thoughts. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she feels the need, as she did a couple of days ago, to publicly clarify that she is not suicidal. She wrote, I am not suicidal, and I'm one of the happiest and healthiest people that you will meet. I have full faith in God, and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop the information from coming out. Not only about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking, the people understand what I am saying. Yes, we are the people and we understand what you are saying. Of most interest to me, what I've learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime. I was like, huh? Excuse me? That's a far cry from what the media has been telling us. Remember, the media presented this amazing story. The father realized his son was guilty, so it goes, right? And then he phoned over a friend to help him convince his son to turn himself in, because this guy, you know, this mysterious guy was a friend and just had a connection with Tyler. And eventually they said, you've got to do the right thing here. We know this is you. That was the vibe. Certainly that's what the media was putting down for us to pick up. Well, I was told actually that it was kind of the opposite. Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus. Tyler, it turns out, which has already been revealed, was accepted into Utah State University, not Utah Valley. And that's actually interesting if you pause and reflect on that, because
Candace took things even further by releasing a photo of Tyler Robinson at a Dairy Queen, looking completely relaxed while getting food around 6:38 p.m. She pointed out that this particular Dairy Queen was located 15 to 17 minutes away from the UVU campus, the same place where Charlie Kirk was allegedly killed. Candace highlighted how Tyler was still wearing the same maroon t-shirt and cap, arguing that it made no sense for someone who had supposedly just committed such a serious crime not to change clothes or try to hide. Instead, he appeared calm and casual, as if he had no idea he was about to be accused of something so major. To Candace and many others, this photo raised serious doubts about the official story, suggesting that Tyler might have been framed and that the entire narrative surrounding his involvement simply didn't add up.
we didn't really consider how on earth Tyler became not just familiar with the layout of the campus, but familiar with the rooftop layout of UVU campus. So familiar that he knew exactly how to scale across the rooftops to duck down in order to take an almost impossible shot at a Charlie Kirk who was sitting beneath a tent. Curiously, however, except sometimes things don't go as planned. Because before people realize that they have anything, or maybe when they're trying to reach out to the feds, they're texting a friend who texts a friend. And the next thing you know, the whole neighborhood in all of Orem has something. And this is what happened. Something made its way around the entire town and into my tips line repeatedly. It is a very clear image of Tyler Robinson, allegedly taken, I'll say allegedly for safety here, but it's looking right according to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you. Just take a look at this photo. What is wrong with this picture? A lot is wrong with this picture. First and foremost, 6:38 p.m. You just shot someone. You have gone through great pains to hide your face, to change your outfit. But wait, you didn't fully change your outfit, did you? I'm looking at this photo and you're wearing jeans and you're wearing the maroon shirt. Now we have a 50-50 combo of the outfits. And now you're showing your eyes and you're not fearful at all that you might be recognized. Also, wow, you must have quite the stomach. You don't have a record. Next thing you know, you shoot someone and you're like, I'm just going to go have a meal. You don't seem to be too shaken or too upset. Something problematic is the location, by the way. We mapped this out. It's about 15 minutes away from the campus at a time when we're told that he's idling by, babysitting the rifle. So you can see, we're showing you, it's about a 17-minute drive away from the campus. So there should be a lot of footage then of this Dodge Challenger driving back and forth. Okay. And
Candace then went on to claim that Charlie Kirk wasn't actually shot from the rooftop like the FBI said. According to her, the trajectory and nature of his wound made no sense for a long-range rifle shot. She explained that a rifle bullet fired from that distance would have gone straight through, leaving both an entry and an exit wound, and could have even passed through multiple people if they were nearby. Yet, that didn't happen with Charlie. Candace argued that this suggested he was shot at close range, possibly by someone standing right next to him. What made things even stranger was that, despite Candace not naming any suspects, Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, unexpectedly weighed in to discuss why Charlie's wound pattern didn't match a rifle shot. His sudden involvement only fueled more suspicion, with people wondering why a foreign leader felt the need to comment on the specifics of an American's death, if there wasn't something deeper going on behind the scenes.
I said the biggest thing that jumps at me is he looks kind of content there. So he's got to be a full-blown psychopath, wearing half of what the feds told us he was wearing in the morning and half of what the feds told us that he was wearing during the shooting.
Candace also pulled out this footage of a man seemingly messing with the crime scene right after Charlie was killed, which, as we all know, is literally never allowed.
A mere minutes after Charlie Kirk is shot, there are two men that look rather mysterious. They appear, they move his chair, and they take down the camera that's directly or was directly behind his head. Why did they do that? You can see, slowed down here, he pulls out the chair. He stands on it, and yes, that would be a big no-no for a crime scene. You don't move anything. He takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting and would be able to provide, therefore, a lot of insight. And then you can see he kind of sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the SIM card. Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet, without question. Okay, and this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there, and I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit, and at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? It went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, think right, if you're just touching your spine in line with your shoulder blade. I don't know who specifically came out and said that BB Charlie Kirk, but now that he's for the second time denying that he is, people are going, what's actually going on here?
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said.
Am I lying? Can anybody actually work and assert that I am lying? You can say my name. Candace Owens lied. Charlie said, I'd love to go to Israel. Charlie said, I'd love to have you on my radio show.
Many people are actually supporting Candace Owens in her fight for the truth, but they're also worried for her safety. They believe that since those in power can't silence her physically, they might try to destroy her reputation by painting her as crazy, a tactic often used against public figures who start exposing uncomfortable truths. This isn't new. It's the same thing that reportedly happened to Dave Chappelle back in 2005. When he suddenly left for South Africa, the media flooded the airwaves with stories claiming he was mentally unstable or on drugs. But in a New York Times interview, Dave set the record straight, saying, "I'm not crazy. I'm not smoking crack. I'm definitely stressed out. There were things that overwhelmed me, but not in the way that people are saying." Later, on the Oprah Winfrey Show, he revealed that he fled the country because his life was in danger. After refusing a $50 million deal from Comedy Central that he felt compromised his integrity, now, people fear Candace might be facing the same kind of smear campaign for refusing to stay silent.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. And I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal And 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving at the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah. Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress, and I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah. Like I'm sitting around, I was stressed out, but the people that were telling me I was insane, I believed that they knew what was going on. So, this was troublesome.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
There's no question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, "You're insane."
Candace might want to slow down before she becomes the next person flying to South Africa just to stay alive. Many people online believe she's taking a huge risk by going against powerful figures, and they're praising her for demanding answers while everyone else stays silent. One user wrote that it's crazy how Candace is the only one questioning the FBI's story, while another pointed out that Charlie refused the $150 million deal, but his wife allegedly accepted it and is now the CEO, which makes the situation even more suspicious. They even urged Candace to start investigating her. People are now comparing Candace's situation to what happened to Dave Chappelle years ago, when he fled to South Africa to protect himself after being painted as crazy for turning down a massive deal. The question now is whether Candace Owens will face the same fate for trying to expose the truth.